Morning! Okay, everybody, well, good morning and welcome to your AGM and Expo 2024. And I have to say, as always, you are all looking awesome and wonderful. And also to the people who are streaming, looking at us from afar, we say good morning to you and enjoy too. There we go. Cameraman's come around. Brilliant. So we have a really great day for you today, guys. It's all going to be a great day of learning, shopping and socialising. And we're going to do the AGM and awards very shortly. And I've been told to be very quick about this morning. Yes, apparently. who booed? Well, who cheered? Anyway, okay, so this year we've certainly got more exhibitors than in previous years. I think we're up to about 37, which is a great number, so that's a great choice for you out there. We have some amazing seminars too. And there's more importantly, there's a fabulous new team who developed the event this year. So you've got Rob Hartley in the middle there, who's our independent non-exec director. Ably supported by Jeff, Ryan, Carl, Lisa, Kev, Liam and Marie from Event Pro who helped put this event together. But the whole event would not happen just with them. It is also about our sponsors, the British Skydiving office team, Marie from Event Pro, the Epic Tech team up there, but also the conference centre team as well. So could you please make some noise for them? Now, before I go on, one of the members of the team is Stacey, who works in the office. She was very much an integral part of this event and held it all together with the working group. So Stacey, if you just stand up and everybody's going to give you a round of applause. Thank you, Stacey. She had no idea that was going to happen. Brilliant. Okay. After all the stuff later on, we have the prize draw, as always. The blue sparkly jacket is back, and as in previous years, it will get messy. And can't wait really to see who it's going to be this year. So we have a mix of challenges. I have one called Just Desserts. So think Heston Blumenthal or Heston Services, something like that. Win a bet, and another one called Risk and Win, which is I've named Pack or Trash Pack. Anyway, you'll find out more about that later, but what you do need to do is to register to win a prize. If you haven't done it, go to the British Skydiving website before noon today and register, and you've got an opportunity to win. So one of the things I always do is throw things out into the audience. So who wants something? God, it's going to go well today, isn't it? Oh. And somebody over here, put your hands up. If somebody was sitting there, they would have got it. Okay, brilliant, guys. So we need to move on because I'm aware of the time and Mary's looking at me. Okay, and later on this evening, of course, the gala dinner, which we look forward to seeing those of you who are going to it. And then obviously the entertainment's open to all. And again, we have Winging It, who are back for a second year. Popular then, good, okay, which is great. And then we've got a DJ till 2 o'clock, so it's a great party night. So this will probably be my last time on stage for this event. However, never say never. So I kind of reflected on the times and the things that I've done in this morning's event. There's been some fun stuff. We had a few games. So I've had a few goes at hypnosis, magic. We had a Malteser and a roller tape. We launched the BPA Buff QVC style one year, I remember. So, but a few years ago, one of the previous chairs said you need to cut down on this time on stage in the morning, not do all the fun stuff as much. So I thought, well, we all like fun. It makes us happy. So I actually went away and thought, well, I need to take some legal advice on this. Now, those of you who are here will remember this. For those who weren't, this is what happened.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the British Parachute Association Annual General Meeting. Now, just to be clear, I agree with Mr. Bond, that's not James Bond, in starting the proceedings with some light-hearted fun, and this is my judgment on the matter.
So, we're going to have some fun today. There you go, we've got it official from Judge Rinder. Who else could you get it from? Right, so now I'm going to hand over to your chair, Mary. And I have to say, in her first year of chair, she's had a brilliant year, and she should be proud of what she's done. So, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, everybody, please welcome on stage, Mary.
all for being here. Whatever your role is in this incredible sport, it's great to have you here. And as usual, we'll be delivering the formal part of the day today. This is the AGM where I, as the chair of the association, report back to you, the members, on important things that you should be aware of and share important matters with you. So without further ado, welcome to the AGM. And as usual, we'll be running the AGM following the meeting agenda that's been circulated to all of our full members in advance of this meeting. So I'm going to work through the agenda as smoothly and quickly as possible. So we have apologies under item 2 from 2 of our directors. That's our Vice Chair, Mark Bayarder, and Director Eleanor Southworth, who both can't make it today. And in terms of conflicts of interest, we do have some voting matters on the agenda today. So when we come to those voting matters, if you do feel you have a conflict of interest or a conflict that might be perceived as a conflict of interest, please abstain from voting. And when we come to matters that do invite a vote from our members, we'll be using our traditional method of voting, which is just a show of hands. And our staff team will be taking notes of that. We also got a system for proxy voting in place. So in the run-up to this event, any members who aren't going to be physically present here have had that option of voting ahead of time. So we'll be taking those proxy votes into account when we come to the voting items. So, having covered all that off already, we're straight into a voting matter, which is item 4. And that's to confirm the minutes from the annual general meeting last year, January 2023. They've also been circulated in advance, so I'm going to take it that they have been read and move straight in to looking for somebody who will propose that we accept those minutes as a true and accurate record of the meeting last year. Do I have anybody who will propose that we accept those minutes? Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody who'll second that proposal? Thank you. Do we have anybody who's abstaining from that proposal? Anybody who is for the proposal? Let's have a show of hands. Thank you. And anybody against? Thank you. Helen, Lisa, do you have that noted? Yeah, thank you. So, item 5. Can I have a show of hands of who read the review of the year when it dropped through your letterbox a while ago? Excellent, excellent. That saves me covering a lot of ground. If you have read it, you should be aware that there's been some pretty big changes for British skydiving over the last year. I'm not going to go into depth on those here because they are covered in the review. And I don't want to be just wasting our time repeating that here. But I'm going to just pull out 3 things that I think if you haven't read the review, that you really should be aware of as members. So those 3 things are that we have added more detail to our strategic plan. We've taken on and onboarded a CEO, and we've configured a new safety training and competitions team. So I'm going to take a very quick look at each of those under agenda item 5. I'm going to start with those strategic goals. So some of you here last year might recall that Craig stood here and he told you about developing our new 5-year strategic plan. And spoke about how important that is, how it's an important part of what the board does because it shapes the future and the vision for the association. So at the start of 2023, the board had this in place. We had a really clear vision for the future of the association. We had a set of values for the association, and we had these 5 strategic goals. So at the start of the year, the board invested a lot of their time into digging into each of these strategic goals and thinking through, working through, how do we actually make all of these happen? What does it take to realise each of those? And how do we measure our achievement there? How do we recognise when we're doing well in getting there? And how do we recognise when we're not doing so well and give ourselves the opportunity for making adjustments? So that took a lot of attention in the first half of the year. And it was really important that that happened in the first half of the year so that when we took on our new CEO, we could share that really clear vision with them for the association. So it's a really important piece of work. And I must say thank you to my fellow directors for the time that went into that and all of the attention to detail there. It was a really key piece of work. So we did make really good progress on it, and we shared it with our new CEO, and our new CEO, Rob Gibson, brings considerable expertise in that area. So he's well placed to start delivering all of that operationally and ensuring that the delivery of the plan makes best uses of the association's limited resources. And that leads me nicely onto that second point, that taking on and onboarding a CEO. Some of you might be thinking, why does that matter? Why is it a big thing? Or what's the difference between a COO and a CEO? And there are some really significant and exciting differences. So a COO is largely responsible for the day-to-day running of things, the operations side, whereas a CEO is a more leadership role. It's a future-facing role, and it brings a responsibility for a lot of decision-making and embedding values within the leadership of the association. So it's a really significant difference. Can I have a show of hands for who has already met our new CEO, Rob Gibson? Okay, a few of you. I've decided to use this as an opportunity to make sure you all know exactly what he looks like. I know. He doesn't realise how strategic I'm being with that. So I've actually asked Rob to cover off that third point with you. The configuration of a new safety, training and competitions team. So, over to you, Rob.
Thank you, Mary. It's wonderful for me to be standing on the stage speaking to you for the first time, and I really look forward for any questions. Come and find me at the bar later on this evening. Like you, watching that video, this sport of skydiving is a truly exhilarating and exciting, something I've not been exposed to in my previous kind of career. And like me, it kind of attracts a particular kind of person, and with the kind of inherent risks within skydiving, safety is a core component of our business, and it's really important that we have laser-sharp focus on that to ensure that we are delivering the most wonderful experience to you all as members, and to also to encourage others to take up this sport of skydiving, which is fantastic. So I'd like to kind of introduce, a lot of you already know Jeff, who's been working for the association for around 10 years. He's our new head of safety and competitions, and what that means, he'll provide leadership within the new safety team to give us more capability of delivering more courses, delivering more information, and developing our expertise and knowledge and disseminating that out to the association and our members. And underneath Jeff, we've got Ryan Mancy, who is a very, very experienced skydiver. A lot of you will probably know Ryan. He's been around lots of different places along the world. And also we've got Kev Dynan as well, again, a wealth of experience and knowledge working in drop zones. So we're really looking forward to engaging with these 3 significant team members and also looking to work with you on how we move that forwards. Just digging a little bit into kind of the safety record, I wanted to try and find a benchmark. Where does skydiving sit? Coming from boxing, boxing is quite a risky sport. It's quite challenging. Also cycling, that's quite risky as well. But I wanted to try and get a benchmark of where we are in terms of risk. So we're going to just pull together just some stats over the last 4 or 5 years, and we're just looking at the number of malfunctions per 1,000 descents. Just to try and see what does that look like, what does that trend look like over the course of the last couple of years, and what we're just starting to see, it's starting to bottom out a little bit. So as we're moving and measuring our progress going forwards, and this will become, not necessarily become a benchmark, but will just enable us to kind of review where we are with that. On top of that, we're also looking at injuries, because we don't really want to get injured. In my kind of Olympic experience, we measured number of injuries per 1,000 minutes of training, but in this case, we're looking at number of injuries per 1,000 jumps. And as you can see, the trend is on the downward spiral, which is good. We don't want to get injured. And then finally, just kind of an overview where we are in terms of membership numbers. I had a bit of a discussion last night about, do we grow membership? Do we retain membership and make the experience better? Well, it's one to kind of consider going forward, and I really welcome any thoughts or feedback on that going forward. So have a wonderful day, and look forward to speaking to you all later on. Thank you.
So 2023, it has been a really busy year. A lot of people gaining ratings, lots of progression, lots of development events and competition, and I have to give a shout out to Langer with an exceptional number of jumps. I know it's been a hard year for a lot of PTOs with a decline across the year, but Langer 51,145 jumps in total. It's quite remarkable. Can we have a round of applause for all those people who achieved their ratings as well and undertook our instructor courses? There was also lots of record-breaking achievements. There was nearly 30 records set or broken by British skydiving members across the year. In 1 year, nearly 30 records. It's quite extraordinary what our members do year on year on year. So I've just pulled out a few here. Just to highlight that. And we also had, I hope most of you are aware of this, the Red Devils set a really extraordinary world first this year. Really fantastic. But I'm sure that most of you would agree that what we do as skydivers isn't just about the sort of stats and the ratings and the competitions. A lot of it is about what's happening in this room and at this event, and it's that coming together as a really extraordinary community. It's about that sense of belonging to an incredible group of human beings who throw themselves out of perfectly good aeroplanes and achieve the extraordinary repeatedly. And for me, this Red Devils record sort of really sets that, about working as a team and really achieving the extraordinary. There were plenty of events that focused on bringing that community together across 2023. This was one of my favourites that I attended. Does anybody recognise what this event might have been? It was Rainbow Boogie. Thank you, Fiona. Yes, held at Tilstock last year. One of my favourites across 2023. But that sense of community is something I think we all share within British skydiving. Sadly, that community lost many members and ex-members across 2023. So whether sitting or standing, I invite you, however you were able, to join together in a minute's silence in recognition and remembrance of the members and ex-members that we have lost across the year. Thank you. And I'd also like to say thank you to Craig Poxon, who year on year behind the scenes keeps this list and this collection updated. It's a really remarkable piece of work. So let's turn our attention to 2024, which is the other part of this agenda item. And of course, we're never looking, as a board, we're never looking at the next year alone, but we're always looking at the next 2 years, the next 5 years and beyond that, because it's really important that the association is keeping its line of vision on things like the good governance expectations that are shaping sports at the moment. They're shaping that sports landscape, and that we are keeping our sights on the changes around all aviation-based sports in terms of sustainability. So talking about 2024 in a way feels a little bit awkward because it's about a much bigger picture than that. But I'm not going to dig into that bigger picture with you because that's the board's job. And Rob's job. But I'm going to share 3 things with you. And I think it's a really exciting time to be able to stand here in front of you and say, we are ready to step up to all 3 of these things, and they will be happening across the next year. So the first thing that's on my little graphic there is we will be looking at how we can build that relationship between British skydiving and our DZOs to be stronger and better going forward. It's a really fundamental piece of work, and I'm really excited to say that I think we started that yesterday in our DZO meeting, which was led by Rob. The second part of what I want to share with you is that a full review of the Safety and Training Committee has been on the cards for several years now. There's been fundamental reviews of all of the other committees, and STC has been pushed back for various reasons, but we have now started that happening with our new Safety Training and Competitions team. So again, a really fundamental piece of work that we will see happening across 2024. And the third thing there is that across 2023, the board commissioned an independent board review to look at what we're doing as a board, look at how we keep moving forward, how we really do live up to that ambition to be a forward-focused learning organisation that can shape itself to become a standout NGB. And that board review was conducted really thoroughly, and it came back to us with a series of recommendations that will help us to continue with all of that work that we've been doing around good governance. And the board have agreed to take on all of those recommendations, so it's a big piece of work. Some of them we can move forward with quite quickly, they're quite straightforward. Some of them we're already doing. Some of them will take more time, and they will involve consultation with you, our members, to make sure that we get things right. So you'll probably see sight of this across the next year, and that consultation is going to be a really important part of it, and we might well be back talking to you about some of those things next year at the AGM. Just two areas of that will probably be more visible to you than others. We'll be looking at how we communicate, what it means to be a director and what your directors do, what being a director involves. So that's going to involve establishing a lot more clarity about the roles, communicating better with our members about them, and also other pieces of work such as revisiting all of our terms of reference that define our roles, such as our vice presidents and our directors, but also across all of our committees and our working groups. So it's a big piece of work. And also we will be looking at how we actually recruit to the board. And there's various components to that. So that's, again, a massive piece of work. But we'll be looking at how we can focus that more on kind of future-proofing the association by looking at the gaps in skills and knowledge that are on the board that will be coming up, and looking at how can we make sure we've got the skills and the knowledge that we need at that leadership level, rather than it being sort of well-known skydivers, because the demands on the board have changed significantly over the last few years as the association has moved from being more of a sort of club-based association to being a much bigger beast these days, with all sorts of requirements around compliance and good governance and just the growth of the sport itself. So keep your eyes open, watch this space for change. So that concludes item 5, my update on 2023 and 2024. I'm going to move on to item 6. So this is another voting item. The annual report and the accounts were circulated to all of our full members ahead of the meeting. I will take them as read. You're an astute lot, and I'm sure you have all read them. So again, I'm looking for a proposer that we accept and adopt the annual report and accounts for the year. Thank you. Do we have somebody who will second that proposal? Thank you. Do we have any people who are abstaining from the vote? Can we have a vote for the proposal? Thank you. And any votes against the proposal? Thank you. We have some proxy votes on that item which will be taken into account, but that is very clearly visibly carried. Do you have that, Lisa? So items 7 and 8, I'm going to hand over to the association's treasurer, Tash Igman.
Thank you very much, Mary. Part of the annual report and accounts includes an opinion from auditors, and you, the members, appoint the auditors because the auditors look at what we directors produce and express their opinion. So although we make a recommendation to you, it is up to you to decide whether you want to follow this recommendation and appoint Rowley's as our auditors for the coming year. This is also a voting matter. There's nothing more to say about this, really. So would someone prepared to propose to appoint Rowley's? Thank you. Someone second? Thank you very much. Is anyone abstaining? No? Anyone against? Everyone who's for the proposal? Thank you very much. I'm sure Rowley's will be pleased as well. And now the bit that the man in green over there has been getting up early for, and wanted to know all about membership fees. That's what he told me at the bar last night. So the membership fee includes two elements at the moment. It includes one element which is British skydiving costs and the British skydiving element which covers the cost of the association and all the responsibilities that we have to pay, or the things that we have to do. The second is an insurance element which covers the cost of the third-party liability insurance that we all get for when we're skydiving in the UK. On the topic of insurance, members for quite some time now have been struggling to get overseas travel medical insurance. And this has been something that I've been working on for quite some time, trying to find a solution. And we're getting closer. We're working with a broker at the moment who had two suggestions on the table. I think the first suggestion may well go off the table again because the insurer was only prepared to cover travel in Europe. And I don't think that's acceptable to us. We would like to have travel covered throughout the world. For us to progress the next piece, we need to gather information from the membership around how often you travel, where you travel to, how many jumps you do when you're traveling. So the next members survey is going to include those questions around that. And it's not because we begrudge you going somewhere where the sun shines a bit more than here, but it's because we want to be able to gather the data to speak to insurance companies to see whether actually the membership fee can in future include an optional extra of overseas travel insurance, because we think that's one of the things that our members would like. So we are working on that and hope to be able to report back on that in due course. Joint memberships. Anyone in this room who has been a joint member in the past knows that this has been a clunky process for online renewal. And every year, we invest a lot of time and effort and money to try and improve that process. And although it's changed, it doesn't always improve. In reality, the reduced membership fee paid by joint members has not been a reduction in cost to British skydiving for quite some time now. Because although only one mag would get sent to that household, British skydiving was only paying for the postage, which was a lot less than the reduced membership fee. And now that the mag is not sent to anyone anymore, we really cannot see any rationale for why two people who happen to live at the same address should pay less than if they live two houses apart from one another. So from the 1st of April 2024, there will no longer be joint memberships. The numbers. So these are the proposed membership fees. The insurance element has gone up by 5%, which is less than inflation. The British skydiving element has gone up by 12.5%, which is more than inflation. But as I explained last year, part of that is to compensate for the years when we didn't increase at all during COVID. Overall, this results in a membership fee increase for a full year for a full member by 9.5%, which is £12.65, which is less than half the price of an altitude jump ticket at most drop zones in the UK. Do I have anyone who is willing to propose to accept these membership fees? Thank you very much. Do we have anyone seconding that? Thank you. Does anyone would like to abstain from this vote? I can't see anything. Is anyone against this proposal? Two, I can see two, yeah? And can I have people who are for this proposal? Thank you very much, and that's carried. That's me done. Back to Mary.
Thank you, Tash. So our next agenda item is to receive the results of the election for our new non-executive directors. But before doing that, I just want to say thank you to our outgoing non-executive directors. So Kate Lindsley and Alex Busby-Hicks, who unfortunately needed to step away from the role partway through their term, and then James Round and Eleanor Southworth, who as of today come to the end of their terms and aren't re-standing. So thank you very much to those. That meant we had 4 seats to fill for 2024. We only had 2 people put their hats in the ring. 2 people stood forward. So that meant that both candidates were accepted to the role of non-executive directors without us needing to go to the full election process. And I'm sure most of you are already aware of this. It's not new news. It had been quite well publicised across our social media and website. But I do want to invite you all to loudly welcome Carl and Theo, who are your new non-executive directors. They will officially start those roles at our meeting, our board meeting that follows this one. So that's the point at which you can start to officially hassle them and ask them lots of questions about why they're not doing things or why they've done things a particular way. This does mean that we still have 2 seats that are unfilled. And for obvious reasons, we're very keen for those to be filled, partly so that we have a full workforce on the board, but also because it helps us have that sort of diversity of voices around the table, if we have our full contingent of 12, which includes our independents. So we are looking for applications to fill those seats on the board. Now, this won't go to election. It won't be that kind of what often gets described as a kind of popularity contest. This will be a case of putting in an application if you're interested, sending in your CV and a brief covering letter explaining what you think you can bring to the board. And all of those applications that we receive by that deadline will be reviewed by the directors, and successful candidates will be invited to the role for a term of a year. So if anybody is interested in that role of a director, I strongly recommend you to look a little bit into the information on this that's on our website. It's gone out across our socials. It's going out again across our socials. But you've got a lot of directors who are here today as well. And we are all really keen to have conversations about what being a director involves and help people make that decision about whether they want to step forward or not. If you're a director and you're in the room, can you just move your hands up and make yourselves obvious so people know who to come and talk to? Thank you. You could also come and observe our meeting that happens back over in the hotel at the Worcester room, straight after our awards and medals presentation. Come and observe. It's a bit of an odd meeting. It's not like the rest of them across the year, but it's a good insight to see who's on the board, what it's like to be part of those meetings. So our last agenda item. The Nominations Committee for British Skydiving were tasked with bringing a recommendation to you for our new independent non-executive director. We invited 6 candidates to interview, 6 strong candidates, and Richard Lockwood was our absolute standout candidate. We're really excited to be able to recommend to you that you accept Richard Lockwood as our new independent non-executive director. There's more information on him on the website. I hope some of you have already been reading it. He's here today. I hope if you see Richard for the rest of the day, you'll make him feel welcome and make sure he feels part of the team. So, do we have anyone who will propose that we accept Richard Lockwood as our new independent director for a term of 3 years? Thank you. Do we have anyone who will second that? Thank you. Anybody abstaining? Okay. Anybody voting for? And anybody against? We do have some proxy votes that will be taken into account. That's clearly carried. All good? And on that point, I'd also like you to join me in saying thank you to Joanne Shaw, who is our outgoing independent non-executive director. She's not entirely leaving us. She's built a strong relationship with British Skydiving, so she's carrying on in a different volunteer capacity, which I think is a good sign for the association. So please express your thanks for Joanne. And just to finish off the formal part of the morning, I wanted to extend that welcome to 2 other people who have joined the team in 2023. We have Annette O'Neill, who joined us as our new editor in 2023 and is working with Dialogue, our publishers, on our new format mag. And also to Jake Hard, who has joined us as our new medical advisor in 2023. So that brings us to the end of the agenda and the close of the formal proceedings of the AGM. And I note for the records, Lisa, that the time is 10:46. Patting myself on the back for some smooth timing there. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to move swiftly on to the really important presentation of awards and medals. This is the bit I'm really excited about. Just checking we've got everybody in place that needs to be in place. Oh, God. I was looking for you. Okay, you're probably already getting the impression that I like things to run smoothly. So I'm not going to delay. I'm going to get straight in there and move us on to the presentation of awards and medals. A lot of our award recipients are going to be quite surprised by announcements, but our medal recipients are all aware in advance of their medal positions. So to keep us running smoothly on time, I will ask our medal recipients, when you know your name is coming up, please be making your way down to the stage already. And just to let you know, if you are coming up to the stage, we've got two sort of points for photography here, and we will be asking you to come and have a more formal photograph down here taken by our esteemed photographer, Rob Lloyd. So, Our first award is the very impressive Jim Crocker Award for an outstanding contribution to sports skydiving. And this award recognises outstanding and sustained contribution to the sport over an extended period of time. So it's not an award that's given annually, just on an occasional basis, because it's hard to make that achievement. But we do have a recipient this year, and the recipient of the award started sport parachuting in 1971. That's impressive in itself, isn't it? They gained an instructor rating in 1978 and became an advanced instructor in 1981. In 1982, they became an examiner and joined the staff of what was then the British Parachute Association. He witnessed a change in the sport from a weekend club-type sport, mostly conducted out of small non-turbine aircraft, to the sport as we know it today, with some drop zones being open 364 days a year. He participated in many FS and CF records, both international and national, competed in formation skydiving, and watched the birth of many other competition disciplines over the years. His 40-year career with the association saw him moving from being the national coach and safety officer to become the technical officer, a role which involved working with out-facing technical matters such as the CAA and insurance. His final position as COO saw him continue the technical work and add the day-to-day running of the association to his ever-growing to-do list. He worked tirelessly at maintaining and improving the safety of our sport and being available pretty much at any time to travel to serious incidents to conduct investigations. And no matter how harrowing the investigation may have been, he has continuously tried to find ways to use that to reduce the number of incidents and errors and maintain our safety record. Following his retirement in 2023, the board felt it was the right time to award the Jim Crocker Award for Outstanding Contribution to Sports Skydiving to Tony Rutler. Tony, please come and join us on the stage. Congratulations, Tony. I should add that Tony will be also officially presented with this very impressive award at the Royal Aero Club dinner in May of this year. If you could make your way over to Rob, Tony, you need a photograph with that. And so, on to our next award, the CAA Experience Skydiver of the Year. Nominations for this award come from you, our members, and then directors have the difficult task of deciding who best meets the criteria for this award. I am absolutely delighted to announce that British Skydiving's Experience Skydiver of the Year for 2023 is Martin Reynolds. Martin's 25 years in sport, he's excelled in multiple disciplines and has represented British skydiving at world meets in free fly, VFS and canopy piloting. He's been on 2 head-down records and been VFS national champion 4 times. Yeah, it doesn't stop there. I've got a lot more to say about Martin. He's held the title of canopy piloting national champion for the last 5 years. Sorry, 6 years. I'm being distracted up here. He's a very well-respected figure in the international canopy piloting scene. He's a great asset to British Skydiving's Elite Performance Committee, where he has a role as our technical excellence advisor for canopy piloting. And he's always ready to help and encourage new CP competitors. In short, Martin has a wealth of talent and experience, and he's a true ambassador for CP and for the sport of skydiving in wider terms. At the start of 2023, following a serious skiing injury, Martin was told his skydiving season was over before it had begun. But against the odds and with remarkable tenacity, he fought back to competition level fitness, ready for the CP National Championships in August. And he didn't just compete. He smashed the national CP distance record that had stood since 2015 and became... And, there's an and, he became British Skydiving's first double national champion in Classic CP and CP Freestyle. There's more. Martin went on to represent Team GB at the World Cup and European Championships in CP and CP Freestyle in October 2023. And at that meet, despite another injury and 2 cutaways, Martin achieved 3 medals in the European Championships, a bronze in individual CP Freestyle, a team bronze in Classic CP, and team silver in CP Freestyle. He also broke his own national CP distance record with an incredible 189.17 metres. I was there, I saw it, it was remarkable. This has been the most successful Team G have ever been in international CP competitions, and it's really clear that Martin has been setting the pace. Congratulations, Martin. Yeah. So next is our Instructor of the Year. So the recipient of this award is selected by our Head of Safety, Training and Competitions and our 2 Safety and Training Officers. And it's a really prestigious title that's awarded to somebody who has gained an instructor rating within the past 12 months. But there also need to be a candidate who did extremely well in that training and who the Safety and Training and Competitions team are really confident that they're the type of instructor that students would be really comfortable to turn to for advice. And our 2023 award for British Skydiving Instructor of the Year goes to Charles Abrahams from Netheravon. Charles, please come and join us.
Charles is stuck in traffic, Chris is telling me.
I'm just
make apologies for Charlie. He's stuck in traffic. He will be here by 12 o'clock.
We will present it to him then. Thank you, Chris. We can surprise him at 12. Keep it quiet if you know him. So we move on to new Skydiver of the Year. So every year, chief instructors and advanced instructors are invited to nominate our new Skydiver of the Year. And this is for someone who is a relatively new skydiver, has progressed well during the last year, and is also considered a valuable member of their club. This year's recipient of the Mike Forge Trophy was trained in October 2022. They started jumping in 2023, and in the last year they have completed over 80 jumps, not only at their home drop zone but at various drop zones around the UK. They've also jumped in Texel in the Netherlands with their university skydiving club and gained their A licence, their packing certificate and their FS1, supported by a bursary. They also volunteer with their university club's committee as his assistant president and secretary. So they've been very busy across their first year in our sport. The recipient's chief instructor in their nomination told us that they consider this nominee to be an inspiration to all the students coming through their university club. They organise transport to the drop zone. They organise ground schools and jumping. They organise post-jump activities and even accommodation to make sure that people are supported at the drop zone. They work tirelessly behind the scenes, encouraging, pushing and helping wherever they can. They are also incredibly humble, always praising others, always taking time to support others while actually doing so much work behind the scenes themselves. I am so delighted to announce that the awards for Mike Forge Trophy for the new Skydiver of the Year of 2023 goes to Francesca, or probably better known to you as Ches Stevenson. Ches, please come and join us on the stage. Have a huge round of applause for Ches. It's a pleasure. You can't, yeah. And next we move on to some Star Awards. Our Star Awards, you're probably aware, recognise that there are many examples of fantastic service within our sport, and we believe in shining a light on that. So we ask all our A licence and above members to tell us about great service that they've received at a PTO or from a fellow member of the association. And each nomination that's eligible, it goes to a panel which consists of our vice presidents. And I'm very pleased to announce that we have 4 recipients of Star Awards for 2023. And the first recipient is none other than Ian Rayner. So Ian, can we have British Sign Language applause please for Ian? So Ian has been, according to his nomination, Ian has been instrumental in sharing his knowledge to provide sign language lessons for staff and jumpers at the DZ. He worked alongside Paul Rimington, put in a lot of effort to produce a British skydiving booklet, which you might have seen some of them around the venue today. And that is commendable. The difference this has already made, and it will continue to make, is exemplary. Ian deserves to be recognised for the wider contribution he has made to the future of British skydiving. Okay, our next recipient of a British Skydiving Star Award is for Paul Rimington. Paul has been a vital part of making skydiving accessible to the deaf community. He's a keen advocate in raising awareness, and he's always on hand to translate at the drop zone and at many events. And this year, together with Ian, he has developed that first sign language booklet for British skydiving, and that has been extremely well received. Paul gives his own time to teach sign language classes and has recently supported a deaf AFF student to go through their training, and a couple of deaf AFF skydivers to work towards their FS1. It's a great achievement for himself and a huge step forward for British skydiving and our inclusivity aims. Paul, please come and join us on the stage to receive your award. Well done. Our next recipient of a Star Award is none other than Dave Crowhurst, who unfortunately can't be with us today. He's apologised for his absence in advance, but he's been part of the skydiving community for 43 years, representing UK at international competitions and playing a vital role as our current Technical Excellence Advisor to our Elite Performance Committee. He is another member who is always on hand to offer advice and coaching in the discipline that he's passionate about, which is accuracy. Dave's hard work in ensuring the accuracy community strives to achieve their best is second to none. So can we have a round of applause for Dave, please? And our fourth recipient of a Star Award is John Wilson. John's passion and enthusiasm is unbeatable. He dedicates his time to all those around him and is always available to offer advice and support and a helping hand. Having coached many students, John loves to see people succeed. He goes above and beyond to help people reach their aims, and his kind, generous nature does not go unnoticed. John, please come and join us on the stage to receive your award. Well done.
Thank you.
So now we have some British skydiving certificates of merit. British Skydiving would like to award a certificate of merit to Jack Davis. And this is in recognition of his dedicated support to the association's IT strategy group. and he's been chairing that group. This is the kind of volunteer work that goes on in the background and goes unnoticed largely. So thank you for making a difference, Jack. It really does make that difference. Please come and join us on the stage to receive your Certificate of Merit. And another Certificate of Merit. Ian and Paul, it's not just your fellow skydivers that recognise what it is you contribute to the sport. British Skydiving also sees that you make that incredible contribution and wants to award you both with certificates of merit. Ian and Paul, as we've already mentioned, made really valuable special contributions to British skydiving and our community across the last year, and particularly our inclusion work. The British Sign Language for Skydiving booklet that they both wrote is an absolutely groundbreaking initiative that makes an outstanding contribution to the sport of skydiving. And British Skydiving is incredibly proud to have Ian and Paul amongst our membership. Please come and receive your certificates of merit. And if we can have our British Sign Language round of applause for them both. Thank you. Thank you. And you will find some copies of those booklets lying around. Please, if you want one, pick one up, take it to the drop zone, use it while you're here at this event. So next we have our certificates for people who've achieved their national judge ratings across this year. So I invite Jess Straub, Mike Williams and Marco Bulmarizzi to join us on the stage to receive their certificates. That's a good hold. Well done, Mike.
Thank you.
Pleasure. And now we move on to our certificates for jump numbers and flying and free fall certificates. So I invite George Clack, David Curtin, Andy Goodwin and Steve Scott to come and join us on the stage to receive your certificates for these remarkable numbers. Congratulations. Excellent. There's two more, but I thought I'd separate them out into a separate slide. So So we can take a moment to appreciate there's only 1,000 jumps between these two. Ali and Scotty, please come and join us on the stage. That's a remarkable number. Well done, Ali.
It's only 800 jumps difference.
Is there? Should I say that? Ali's just told me it's actually only 800. Clearly this matters. So I have 2 more things to announce under the awards. And these are things that we celebrate, not awards we're giving. These are awards that are being given by the Royal Aero Club, and they will be given at their ceremony in May of this year. But it's fantastic for British skydiving that our members achieve these things. So I would ask you to give a round of applause to Angela Hickling. Angela, I want to save you the trouble of coming up to the stage. You will receive the award at the Royal Aero Club dinner. But we'll give you a massive round of applause. Thank you. And this is a bronze medal awarded by the Royal Aero Club in recognition of the impact that Ange has had on the sport, specifically as a role model for women coming into the sport and finding ways to realise their own potential within the sport. Angela has influenced so many people in the sport, including women who've gone on to become instructors, directors, examiners, international competitors and riggers. And now we can add chair to that list, Angela. So thank you very much. We have another pair of awards that will be awarded by the Royal Aero Club in May. So can we please have a round of applause, but they don't need to come up to the stage, for Ian Rayner and Paul Rimington. And this is a certificate of merit from the Royal Aero Club. So it's not only your fellow skydivers and British skydiving who recognise the difference you're making, the Royal Aero Club recognise that difference too. And these certificates of merit have been awarded in recognition of Ian and Paul's inclusivity work. With the British Sign Language for Skydiving booklet, Ian and Paul have not only made an outstanding contribution to the sport of skydiving, but they have also achieved something that leads the way for other air sports in terms of what stepping up to inclusivity might look like. So let's have a round of applause for Ian and Paul. And now we're going to move on to our medals presentations. And for that, I'm going to hand over to our chair of the Elite Performance Committee, Wes Guest, and I get to go and do a bit of handshaking.
Thank you very much. So 2023 has been another great year for competition. We had a lot of new teams coming through, which was really exciting to see. It's almost like the changing of the guard. So it was really good to see some new up-and-coming teams. Starting with the first award, Sport Accuracy Junior Overall Champion, Travis Copeland. Next up, the Sport Accuracy Intermediate overall champion, Catherine Alanak. The Sport Accuracy Senior overall champion, Alec Flint. The Classic Accuracy overall champion, Les Carroll. Moving on to canopy formation, and just a reminder, if you know your team's coming up, start making your way down. So canopy formation, two-way sequential rookie, overall champions, Kark Screw, Mohammed Ahmedi, Johnny Ballamy, and Tamus Boldazar. Canopy formation, two-way sequential intermediate, overall champions, stack it up before you rack it up. Kaylee Garbett, Gary Wainwright, and Charlie Wakeham. Canopy formation, two-way sequential senior, overall champions. They couldn't be with us today, but it's the Airspace Invaders. Jason Hobbs, Max Holmes, and Marcus Mirror-Smith. Canopy formation, four-way rotations, overall champions. Car crash, Andrew Bate, Kevin Cassidy, Richard Dixon, Nigel Hodgkinson, and Peter Hughes. Next up, formation skydiving. The four-way rookie category in bronze is Genesis, Stuart Holker-Barton, Richard McGuinness, Michael Oakes, and Mark Stevenson. Next up, four-way rookie silver, Booty Cool, Frantisek Balek, Liam Flavin, Andrew Newby, Timothy Skars, and Lazar Sumar. And finally, four-way rookie gold, the overall champions, Team Kaleidoscope. Ewan Black, Min Chu, Lydia Gallagher, Duncan Haynes, James Johnson, Chris Massey and Owen Masters. Moving on to Single A. In four-way bronze, Children of the Corn. Michael Benson, Lee Clift, Joseph Colony, Felipe Dack and Cara Pritchard. And four-way single A silver, Anti-Gravity. Jeff Cross, Liz Hurry, Johnny Sapphire, Dimitri Shukrin and Tim Young. Congratulations. And finally, four-way single A gold, the overall champions, Wavy Whackers. Chris Chittock, Sophie Cook, Matt Cumming, Thomas Dent, Catherine Diffie, Beatrice Ricks and Neil Slater. And moving on to four-way double A. In joint bronze, firstly, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Matthew Bears, Jamie Gray, Amish Mahanti, Maciej Sobchak, I even asked him beforehand, Tiffany Samila, Eric Valentine-Vicks, and Clive Vardax.
Good effort.
Well done. Good job. And also in joint bronze, we have Brits on Grits. Cole Beck, Marcus Beck, Phil Curtis, Jodie Lee Foster, and Tano Parker. And next up, 4-weight double 8 silver, Team Axes, Vincent Adams, Phil Kane, Ming Chu, David Curtin, Kate Lindsley and Jim Parsons. Guys, good job. Well done, Ming. And lastly, in 4-weight double A, gold medalist, our overall champion, Chili's, Ashley Burns, Jonathan Milne, Janine Kasim, Sian Stokes, Charles Tucker and Ian Tommins. And moving on to AAA. 4-weight AAA bronze medalists, Team Apex. Mark Fletcher, Harry Gampafi, Chris Judd, Pete Maffer and Dave Rogers. Well done. Well done, Mark. And 4-weight AAA silver, Vantage. Mike Alsop, Elliot Clapp, Dave Curtin, Liz Moore and Paul Morgan. Well done, congratulations. Well done. Well done. And finally, the AAA gold medalists. Our overall champions, it's been great seeing them rise through the ranks through the years. British Army Voltige, Stacey Briggs, Amy Coway, William Forbes, Cy Hughes, Anna Lee and Jay Webster.
So that brings us to the end of our medals, but I am going to circle back to one of our awards because I believe there's been a change in the audience. So our Instructor of the Year award that is decided by our Safety Training and Competitions team for 2023 goes to Charles Abrahams. Charles, please come and join us on the stage. Congratulations. Yeah, if you go down there, Rob will take a nice photo of you. Sorry. That brings us to the end of our proceedings for this morning. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the day and makes the most of the fantastic array of seminars that we've got on for the rest of the day, and enjoys the social part of it too. Thank you very much for your time this morning.